Good morning. Eventually this video will go onto the archive anyway, so I'm going to say what I have to say anyway. Um, okay, so had a conversation with, a bunch of people this week, and it's been interesting to hear both sides of the story. It hasn't changed the facts that I found. What's up, Craig? You see, we as a people, the black people, I think our biggest issue is that we have allowed our minds to become weak, not malleable, weak. Having a malleable mind is not bad because you can change and you can accept information. It's pliable, okay? But having a stone brain it's counterproductive to what you want in the world, okay? So I try to have an open mind and listen. What's up, Aaron? I try to have an open mind, okay? So I listen to both sides. But like I said before, I do not engage in any meaningful conversation with people who start off with insults. I just don't. I don't have no time because I'm not going to waste the information I have on you. But I will throw back the insult at you. I have no problem doing that. No, delete your comment after I'm done too. I don't care. I don't need to have your comment on there. You can screenshot it too. I don't care. I do it to you, so and it's not a double standard. You know. But like I said, you come at me with an insult instead of an argument. That's what you're looking for, so I'll give it to you. No, I'm a very giving person. I'll do that. So, an open mind. Okay, so I try to have one. So I've been having some really good conversations with a lot of people. Um, been actually talking to some black conservatives, and that's been really good. They have given me some really good insights as to how um, the black culture has affected them and how they get backlash as much as I do. And they think it's kind of crazy that they're trying to help people and they don't want the help. They just they don't want it. So this conversation sparked out of a debate about white privilege. Okay, and I just recently had one with Corey Fair about this, and I sent the link to the guy that I was having a conversation with so he could listen to it, and he said he listened to it and he thought there were a bunch of things I said that was just dumb and wrong. So I said, well, let's have a conversation about it. So we did. Okay. And yes, coffee, Tina, coffee. No tea today. So I'm going to backtrack to Malcolm X. If you don't know that Malcolm X and Mr. King did not see eye to eye, okay? They both had a different view of how the black man should progress in the American society. Um, Malcolm X wasn't necessarily looking for equality. He was looking for equity, okay, black equity. Um, whereas Mr. King was not looking for equity so much as he was looking for equality. So he was looking for equality of, like I said, of, you know, opportunity, and Malcolm wanted equity, so he wanted to have a set spot for black this and a set spot for black economy. So he wanted everything set for blacks. He didn't want segregation like some of the left wants now. Okay, remember that he did not want segregation. He just wanted things set apart, not segregated for the black community. So wherever they lived, he wanted them to have their own businesses. So he was pro-black business. He didn't want to have to depend on the white man for anything they got. That was his view. Whereas Dr. King was not necessarily like that. He wanted the black man to have the options of doing either one, living with or living away from. Okay? But Malcolm X did have a few good things to say, especially about the white liberal. So he kind of equated them to the wolf and the fox. The fox was more cunning, and he was usually the one that ended up with the lamb. The fox was cerebral with his approach. The wolf, however, was already, scary already. So this was, by the way, the fox and the wolf are still white people, but different types. So he never saw white people as another sheep. Just understand that. That's the difference between Malcolm X and Dr. King. There were no white sheep. It was either going to be a wolf or a fox. One's either coming at you completely scary, or one's coming at you to try and be your friend, and I'm cute, and then kill you. Both are killing you. None of them were either a shepherd or a sheep. He never saw white people like that. That's the sad thing. I think about Malcolm X. He never saw white people as an ally. So he saw them as people that were helping black people, but only for their benefit, not for the black man's benefit. Dr. King was a little more, he had a higher belief in humans as a general rule. So he saw white people as some of them being misguided, some of them as being bad, but the majority of them wanting to help. And so he worked with them to get the black man and woman out of poverty and out of decay and into a life that they can actually have equality. Ironically enough, the fox still killed both. Still killed both. And that's the bad part about this whole thing. Both voices could sit down and talk. They could have a conversation. They could disagree about some monumental things and didn't resort to violence. Can't have that today, because the fox is crazy, and he's infiltrated everything. No, Farrakhan was friends with Malcolm X. Malcolm X had a few other viewpoints that were contrary to the original Muslim mindset. Okay, he started the Black Muslim movement. Okay, it was a little different. He didn't completely agree with everything that Muhammad had to say. Farrakhan takes it a little bit further than Malcolm X ever would have. Okay. Someone asked that question. So, that to say this, the liberal has a very specific agenda. Okay? And his agenda is to befriend and betray. To befriend first, and then to betray. I personally do not believe that every white is either a wolf or a fox. I believe that white people or any other race outside of black, there are tons of them who are sheep as well. Just like us, we're just trying to make it and we're following a shepherd. The difference I see is that we do have a shepherd, and that shepherd will shepherd all of us equally. And he will still leave, like he says, the flock and go find more. But some sheep consistently leave the flock, and they will eventually get caught by either the wolf or the fox. Okay. So this conversation started off fine enough, and he believes in white privilege, that it does exist because he has it. And so I just decided to ask him, if you were to take said white privilege and go into, say, downtown Chicago, okay, or even into the ghettos of Chicago, the projects, and apply for a job with said white privilege. Because if the privilege is a white thing, then it doesn't matter what your economic stance is. You can get a job because you're white. Okay, that's the theory. Would you be able to just walk in and get it? He says, well, it doesn't have to. Okay, but that's not my question. I'm asking, would you get it if you went into a black neighborhood? So he went on this first tangent. He said, and I wrote it all down. Okay, reading this is verbatim. He said, if my family controls the local economy, don't you think I'd have an advantage in getting opportunities in that local economy? With that being said, then if you have an all-black community, then blacks would have black privilege. And I don't equate opportunity and, as he put it, advantage as privilege. I see it as you're saying that you're better than me because of how you were born. He said, no, that's not true. It's not better than, it's advantage. Usain Bolt has a speed advantage over me. In a race, he's better than me. Usain Bolt is better than me in racing with legs. I am not dumb to think that, oh, because he has an advantage doesn't mean that he's better than me. No, the dude's better than me at running. Trust and believe that. He is much better than me. That's what an advantage is. If you have an advantage, you will be better than the person that you're going up against. The person might succeed with a mistake by you, but by default, you're better. In your head, if you have an advantage. So it's not privilege, okay? So then he describes what he says privilege is. Now, when I said I announced that it has some stuff that I'm going to be saying that's controversial, or this to me just, it flattered. I was floored. Man, it was the first time I literally felt what racism, hidden racism, feels like. And I'm going to read it verbatim, and I want you, in your mind, to listen to it and tell me what you think this means from a white person to a black person. This is based on the going to the projects and stuff to apply for a job. Privilege is having enough options to not need to find a job in the ghetto. If your point is that white people would suffer discrimination within a black community, I'll grant you that. But that's irrelevant. Privilege is never having to need to, because the vast majority of economic means is controlled by whites. And that's an objective fact. Pretty sure last time I checked, Asians also controlled economic wealth. And it goes back and forth between them and the whites, just so you know. This is the part that killed me. I don't need to worry about discrimination by black communities because I don't need their resources. But that's not the same for the black community. I don't need to worry about discrimination by black communities because I don't need their resources. White liberal. I'm going to let that sit for a second with you so you can really say it over to yourself. I don't need to worry about discrimination by black communities. Black people hate me. I don't care. I don't need them anyway. Look, if you black liberals and Democrats want to think that the white liberal cares about you, you are beyond stupid. I'm sorry, but y'all just... You cannot keep hearing this crap and expect it to just be like, oh, that's not what they mean. This dude literally thinks, he literally thinks that the privilege he has is based on the fact that he don't need black people to make it. And even if they hate him, he don't care because I don't need nothing they have. He sees you as worthless. But he'll go to fight for you, go to bat for you, right? He goes to make you better. Dude, I was blown away. I was blown away. And he literally talks as though, you know, this is fact, this is true. It's okay, you know, because, you know, I really want you to succeed. Just know that you can't succeed more than me because I'm white and you're black. Hey Jody, no, I'm not naming the person, but this is someone I had a conversation with. Okay, look, you have to start using the voice of reason. Okay, you have to start using the voice of reason in your head. If someone could look you in the face and tell you, I'm for you, but I don't need you, they're not for you. I got your back and I want you to succeed, but I don't need you. This is how they think. This is how the liberal thinks. You think they're going to help you? You think these people are going to help you? You think they're going to try and make your society and your culture better? Who do you think started this whole gang mentality? Who do you think introduced drugs to your community? Who do you think made you believe that rap music and the drug culture and the gang culture was cool? It was not the conservative. That was the liberal. That was the liberal. They have pushed it for years on you. They have made you believe that bling is the way to get out. They have made you believe that the drug culture, that the rap culture, that the pop culture is the way to go. They've removed from your mind deductive logic. They've removed from your mind the ability to think straight. They are not for you. They do not care. In their minds, all the wealth is tied up with them. And in order for you to make it, you have to come to them. You can't even come up with an idea on your own, which is why they fight it. This is why they fight it, because they have to make you believe and continue to make you believe that you didn't come up with this idea on your own, that you needed the white liberal to make it happen. It's also why they try to shut you up and say, I will speak for you. Look, I will say this again. I did not want to, desire to have a 2-minute clip of me go all over the place. I've always had this mindset, though, okay? Anybody who talked to me, this is what they would get. This is how they got me, raw, unfiltered. And you can ask my mom. I never put water in my mouth for anybody. I never watered anything down. But since I have this platform and I have you listening to me, and I have mostly liberals and crazy black folk that will come and talk crap on my page and on my videos, I want you to understand something very clearly, okay? I will say this again very clearly. Listen. I do not prescribe to the normal right-wing people. I am like my president. You come at me, I come back. I don't come back with facts or nothing like that if you don't come with facts. And trust and believe me, I have enough insults to last a long time. And I will go to places that will make you not want me to go anymore. That's who you're dealing with. I can handle many names. I have no problem with you calling me names. But when you don't come with factual information, I'm not coming at you with anything factual. It tells me right away that you have none, and you don't have the deductive logic to reason through anything I give you anyway. So I'm not going to waste my information on you. Not. But for me to look at my brothers and sisters going around, okay, believing that the white liberal, the black liberal, the blacks that are in power who really want your best is asinine to me. People want to revere people like Elijah Cummings. Oh, he was a freedom fighter back in the day. And then he got into politics. And he got around the white liberal. And he became one himself. And he let his people go to pot. He didn't care anymore about it. Look, black conservatives are waking up. And when we wake up, y'all just don't know what's coming. It's a different storm. It's a different storm. You think the Selma March was crazy. When we wake up, you know, quite a few people came on that thread for the first video I did, okay? Calling me a coward and saying that, oh, you just, scared? Some black dude said I was scared. I don't know where he got that idea from. And not saying why, okay? Just that I was scared. And boy, you sit on the sidelines. And they always go to this. It's ridiculous. They all go to some sort of a racist talking point. I don't get it. Like, well, I kind of get it because they got nothing else. They got no brains to function that makes them think anything new. It's all old. They always go to the boy and you Uncle Tom and you this and you that and you coon and all kind of crap, you know. But they somehow still believe that this revolution that's taking place right now will not take place. They think that they will win too. And when I say in that video that the Patriots will rise, that it's some sort of movie title that I'm trying to, then just wait. Just wait. You don't have to take my word for it. You do not have to take my word for it. This is the same. And the dude came at me and said, like, I sound like the British. I don't know how the hell I'm going to sound like the British when I'm talking against them. See, another dude said, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I said, well, the same guy that said I was talking like the British, I said, you obviously didn't pay attention in history class. Then he begins to quote his credentials about, well, I got this degree in history and blah, blah, blah. I said, I didn't say that you didn't attend history class. I said you didn't pay attention in history class, and I think you didn't pay attention in English class either, because your comprehension skills are very lacking. Otherwise, you'd understand what I said. I don't have time to argue. There it is. They always don't have time to argue when you shut them down. Yeah. He was in the Marines and all this nonsense, and I got my degree, and I was recruited by NASA. You know, when they start throwing out titles, sometimes it's just not true. It's just, bluster. So I'm going to talk to my conservative audience now, because the liberal ones don't listen, first of all, but also they're stuck in this place here that this dude is stuck in, okay? That they don't need blacks. They will try and help blacks. Here's some housing. Here's some, the other thing that Malcolm X said, this is funny, he said that he doesn't trust a white liberal who gets into power and puts white liberals in charge of doing things that have to do with blacks. Any of you know who the HUD president is in President Trump's cabinet? Do anybody know who that is? I'm going to wait to see who throws the first right answer here. Who's the HUD secretary? Anyone? Throw up an answer. No? Okay. Ben Carson. For those who don't know, Ben Carson is black. Blickety, blickety, black. He's black. Malcolm X would have been proud of President Trump because he put someone who's been in the system of HUD to help with the system of HUD. And who was the first to attack him? The white liberal. The white liberal was the first to say, well, Ben Carson ain't got no experience in the HUD. No, but he has some experience in the hood. That's much better than having experience in government. A neurosurgeon on children's brain isn't enough for you, because he will be thinking for himself. Okay, a doctor who grew up in the projects, broke as a joke, went out to dominate a white area of the economy. If his mother took this dude's approach, she would have told him, no, you can't go out there. The whites don't need you. The whites don't need you, Ben. Don't you know that? They don't need you. It's their economy. They don't need you. You need to stay here and just make ends meet in the ghetto where you belong. No, they don't need you. You know how many children this dude saved? Children who would have definitely died. A black kid from the ghetto in poverty grew up and went into the white man's world and made it. You know why? Because his mom wasn't an idiot. His mom and his families told him, you better get your education, because that's the key to getting out of here. The white liberal put the ghettos together. I had a great conversation with a new friend yesterday, about how Lyndon Johnson was the real architect behind all of this. The Democrat Party was the real architect behind all of this. Yeah? The real architect behind putting together and destroying the family and putting it together the ghettos. Really. There is transcripts and audio of this man speaking down to black people using the N-word. And yet still, some blacks revere the Democrat Party. He put you in the ghetto and kept you there so that he could have reliable votes. And you, like a good little kid, did exactly what he wanted. He gave you handouts, gave you welfare, told you if you can do this and keep the black male out of the household, you'll get more money this way. Then he went and told the black man that you can't really make it, but if you hustle drugs on the side. Yeah, he said, when I do this, I'm going to have the N-word voting Democrat for the next 50 years. He did say that, yeah. That's not hearsay. Put it up on Facebook and I bet you they can't fact check it. It's been 65 years now. 60 years. Okay, 60. So his mantra lived 10 more years than he thought. But some are waking up. But it was the white liberal that put black people here. Don't get this twisted. Which is why Antifa and BLM have taken over your fight. They don't want you saying anything. They want to be your voice. And they're helmed by white liberals. They are not helmed by honest working black people with the black interest at heart. They are helmed by white liberals who say one thing to you and do the complete opposite for you. Yeah, the chat is a bit delayed. Let me go back and see if there's something I missed here. Yeah, I didn't miss much. It's only a little bit delayed. Look, the only key out of this for you is to educate yourself. Okay, not take my word for stuff. Educate yourself. You go out and do the research. It's difficult. It's painstaking. You have to take the time to do it. You have to really beat the bush for it because they're hiding this information for you. They're hiding almost a 40-year block of time in black history too. You have to hunt down to the ends of the earth to try and find what Black Wall Street was. You have to hunt down to the ends of the earth to try and find paperwork that even tells you about the economic boom of the black man. To the time that Lyndon Johnson decided to say, nope, no more of that. Find a way to break that. They're getting too much ground. The families are together, and that's the key. That's what's making them get all this money. We had black millionaires before music happened. Before all these labels and record labels and, well, I'm going to be a movie star. We had actual business owners black business owners that were making millions, well-to-do. They controlled a lot of the economy, but they had to end it. The white liberal had to end it because they were getting behind in the game. They were losing votes. They saw themselves becoming obsolete. Yeah, it was the 60s. Like I said, they started this program just after JFK got in, okay? And the reason they killed JFK was because of this. He wanted what most Democrats didn't: freedom for all. JFK really wasn't a Democrat. In honesty, he really wasn't. Okay? When you have someone like that, then you have to destroy them. You have to take them out. You can't leave them in power. Yes, it was the longest filibuster ever. Yes. The Civil Rights Act. They were trying to block all of that. Democrats were. Like I said, do your research and you'll understand why. When they talk about this big switch that happened in 1940 or some nonsense, like there was no switch. 6 Democrats went to the Republican side. 6, I think it was 6. Maybe a little more, but it was not a full party swap. Democrats are still the same Democrats. The white liberal do not have your best interest in their purview. They want to give you the illusion of choice while taking it right back from you. The music industry, all of it in the music industry is keeping you under. They give you this contract to sign and say, hey, if you promote what we want you to promote, you know, then we're good. If you promote what we want you to promote, it's all good. But the instant you step out of line and start promoting something else, gone. If you start promoting something that uplifts blacks, nope, can't have that. You start telling them to get out of the ghetto, nope, can't have that. Case in point, Bob Marley. They took out Marley. Okay, all the big names. Tupac was about getting people out from things. Gone. When you start to look at this stuff, it is not the conservative taking these people out. And it's not the conservative stopping voices. It is not. It's the liberal. Last time I checked, Hollywood was not ran by a conservative. Last time I checked, the tech moguls were not conservative. Last time I checked, the news, not conservative. The white liberal will always say they have your best interest at heart and then proceed to tell you some racist nonsense about how you can't make it. I'm so happy that I had a mom that didn't say that to me. So, man, every day I get up and I'm thinking, wow, the real reason I'm still mentally sound is because my mom never told me once that, hey, someone else has your future in their hands. Now remember this. I did not grow up some rich, entitled, or money-flowing black dude. We did not get everything we wanted. We had to push to get what we have. We had to scrap to get what we had. My mom was an ingenuity. She had ingenuity. She was a seamstress. She still is. She doesn't want to admit that, but she's still a seamstress. And this woman could make stuff out of nothing. And I mean literally out of nothing. She could take a piece of cloth and it would be a dress just like that. Bam, done. People would come to her to say, I need this done. And she just look at it, get a couple of patterns somewhere and just create her own thing. And it's done. Just like that. She got asked to make bathing suits back home. So this a white business owner, she couldn't get the design she wanted. Mom was the one to come up with the stuff that she needed. That lady wasn't a liberal, by the way. She needed our equity. Do not let them keep telling you what you can and cannot do. Do not let them keep telling you who you are and are not. Do not let them keep telling you. Do not let them keep telling you this. That what you offer is less than what they have to offer. That they control stuff. They don't control nothing without someone else giving them stuff too. Because in actuality, what also the white liberal does is not just racism against the blacks. They have racism against their own people too. Because in their minds, everyone that doesn't think like them is automatically a racist white person, when in fact they're projecting who they are on that white person. Because in order for them to think that they control everything, they also have to think that every white person thinks like them and don't need the black. Because in your community, it's worthless. It's a dead end. There's nothing to get in the ghetto. They've made it this way. And they still think that that's how it should remain. Because they know you're on welfare, so you can't really afford much. And what they don't want you doing is waking up to realize you can be using that welfare money to just blast the economy in your area. Imagine if you got in your head this concept of, I took my welfare money and I started putting it away piece by piece. And I picked up an old rundown building in the ghetto. And because I know people in the ghetto, I started hiring them to do something I came up with. And before long, it starts to gain traction. And then another little black kid sees that and says, "Oh, I might have to do the same thing." And he opens a spot. And then before long, you start realizing, wait a minute, we got one more problem. We got these gangs we need to get rid of. So when they commit a crime, you actually report them. Ooh, now it starts to really get some ground. You know what the first things they're going to do is they're going to send in police force to start shutting down stuff. I guarantee you money. That liberal mayor who's in charge of that town, because they're all liberals, they're all these left-wing people that are in charge of these ghettos, all of them. Just take a look. Don't take my word for it. Take a look. You watch. They'll start changing rules to say, well, you're going to need this license and you're going to need this pass and you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this. And start shutting it down piece by piece by piece. You start to get a little. The liberal comes in and says, no, I have a better answer for you. Listen, I really, really hope that you people open your eyes. It is why President Trump has deregulated a lot. It's why he's taken a lot of the red tape out of things. It's why he's established these zones to make sure these things take place, to start boosting black owners, to start thinking, this is how we make it out. Because it could be this 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 500 people in a city that have ideas, but the white liberal has kept them just enough under the thumb. So boost them. Here, we're going to offer you some incentives. You want this started? We'll help you get started. Run with your idea. And they run with the idea and they take off. It creates a black millionaire. No liberal wants that. Unless, of course, they can control that black millionaire. They control Oprah. They control Will Smith. Okay? They control these people. They control Jay-Z. They control Beyonce. They control LeBron. They control all of them. You say and think as we do. LeBron, you have money, but I want you to speak about being a victim, please. You need to be scared when you go out with the cops. Although you never go out by yourself, you need to go and tell people that I'm scared every time I go out my house. You live in an entirely white community, but you need to tell the black people that they're scared. You have millions, but tell them that you're scared. You're not oppressed, but tell them they are. Drive that message home. Say it day in, day out, day in, day out. Drive it into their skull. Make sure they believe it. You tell them that. Make sure they know that they're oppressed. Make sure they know that they're kept down. Make sure they know that they can't make it out without our help. And we buy it. Hook, line, and sinker. Guys, I just only hope that you start deductively reasoning through these things that they tell you, okay? I'm just not looking at the camera lens, man. I'm dead center, but I just don't look at the camera up here. I'm reading the comments as I talk. But I want you to listen. Okay, just listen. Let me look at the camera, then I'll look at the camera like this and tell you, listen to me. Critically think for yourself. You have an idea, research ways to get it off the ground. I'm speaking to not just blacks, but I'm speaking to anyone in an impoverished state of mind. Poverty is a state of mind. It's not just in the pocketbook, it's in your head. It is in your head. Just your state of mind. If you have a goal, reach for it. You'll be amazed the kind of doors that open when you put your foot down and start running towards your goal. Put on your blinders. I don't have any distractions. I don't want any distractions. If education is the key, run towards your education. You're trying to be a doctor, run towards your education. Forget the gangs. Forget your friends staying out late. Sacrifice now for the things you want in the future. Sacrifice the friends. Sacrifice the hanging out, the fun. Because when you get older and you have what you want and you have your security, you won't have to worry about whether or not you can have fun. You'll have the funds and the time. And do not let anybody tell you that you cannot make it and that they have an advantage over you. The only advantage they will have over you is what you give them. It is what you give them. Nobody has an advantage over me. They may have a little bit of a head start because they started before me, but I will be damned if I won't get to my goal. And it won't be because of them that I don't get there. It'll be because of me that I don't get there. I dictate my effort, not them. So now I'm done looking at the camera. I dictate my worth. I decide what I can and cannot do. Me, not a stinking white liberal, not the government. Me. You decide this. Do not let them drive this into your head that you need them. You don't need them to succeed. You don't need their hand up or hand out to succeed. You need effort. You may want their help. You may welcome their help. You don't need it. Because they apparently don't need you. I lived in Arkansas for a bit, and I've seen white people in poverty. They have no clue what privilege they have. They've been looking for it for a while now. They've been looking for it for a while. They've been trying to get opportunity. It's the same system that keeps them down too. The liberal system. If I can keep you demoralized long enough, if I can keep you demoralized, I can keep you under me. You ever seen abused women and children? How if you tell them something that you're not this and you're not that and you're not this and you're not that, long enough they start to believe it and they don't go anywhere. They have this shy kind of, I don't know, kind of behavior. You ever noticed it? When an abused woman walks around, they always have this fade back to the back. They've been conditioned to stay away. Okay, they've been conditioned to just stay to the back, stay. That's what the white liberal does. It keeps you abused. Do not come up here. This is our realm. We don't need you up here. We'll let you come a little bit up, but you don't come here. You can't make it here. You stay there. And like a dog with his tail tucked between its legs, you'll stay just right there in that little space. Agreeing with them because you don't want to get in trouble. You're just there. And you believe everything they tell you. You know what I do like about the Hispanics? Them brothers will beat the mess out of payment and get what they want. I'm not pro illegal immigration. Do not get it twisted. I will say that all day because I am an immigrant and I did things the right way. And I had people jump ahead of me that were illegal. And that pissed me off because they didn't have to pay nearly as much, do nearly as much as I did. And that still pisses me off because there are people who are trying to do the right thing and aren't getting anywhere. So don't conflate illegal immigration with legal immigration. but I'm a very big fan of how hard Hispanics work. And they put their shoulder down and they will. The odd thing, this is how the blacks were in 1930 to 1945, 50. These guys were they just took stuff and they ran for it, made money. White liberals came and told them, hey, it could make you more money if you sit down on your behind. And we sat down on our behind. And people will hear Joe Biden talk about us like that and say, well, they're not very diverse in their thinking, not like the Hispanics. And that's not racist. They don't think as much as other people do. They don't have a creative bone in their body as much as Hispanics do, as much as other people. Maybe one or two of them might get out, but the rest of them stay dumb. Dude, they tell you these things. They tell you to your face that you're stupid enough to not make it, and you just go with them. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Can't be real. Can't be real. But then again, you're like the abused spouse. You're forced in that mindset. You take it. You take it. Because you also know the flip side. When they get mad, what happens? Look at the riots and what towns they're burning down. Notice what businesses they're attacking. Please notice. Take note where they're doing this nonsense. Also take a note and check and see how many black-owned businesses have been lost in these riots that are supposed to be for black people. Also take note and see how many white liberals are involved in it. Take note and see how many white conservatives are joining in. Doesn't look like any. So, that was my spiel for today. Okay, that was my spiel for today. I'm gonna flip the camera. Don't get. Oh, instead of telling me I can't do it while I'm live, whatever. Because I wanted to look directly at the camera and not have to go back and forth. Rachel, I would smile, but this particular topic is too serious. I do have in my head this hope, though, that because so many of us are waking up, white and black and Asian and Hispanic, waking up to this masquerade, this illusion that they've been pulling over on us, that enough of us will wake up that we'll end this thing soon. Whether by force or by diplomacy, it'll end soon. I have a suspicion what they want is force, though. And I don't think they're really ready for that. Because they'll use the same tactic. They'll say, well, you're a coward, you're a chicken, you won't ever do anything. They'll take out of my entire statement that I will sit on the sidelines. That's the only thing they took out of it. They won't hear me saying, I might join in, but I'll definitely be watching. Do not get, I might join in for cowardice. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm ready. Mentally, I am ready. This has nothing to do with me wanting to get violent. But my family being alive means more than your agenda. My family thriving means more than your agenda. My children will grow up to know that there is no such thing as stupid white privilege and this nonsense BS that you're trying to push on people to keep them under your subservient thumb will not work on my children. They will understand their brain is bigger than yours. It's bigger than that propaganda you're trying to shove down their throat. They will understand that their worth is only defined by them and the Creator, not you. You don't get to tell them what their worth is. You didn't make them. And the faster we as a people realize this, the better off we'll be. The quicker we get this through our heads, that the only person blocking our way forward is us. You. Not an external force. There are people that made it out of the desert without water. They didn't let the heat and the sand tell them they couldn't. There are people that survived underground for 30 days. They didn't let the elements tell them they couldn't. I'm not going to let liberals tell me I can't do something. It's a pathogen. It's a disease. It's a sickness. It's a virus. It's worse than COVID. It kills people. Literally, it kills people. Liberalism kills people. It's just like socialism. It's botulism. It is leprosy. It slowly decays you till you can't move. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. Find wisdom.